Hello, my name is Debbie Boone, and I want to welcome you to my podcast, The Bend, where we explore how successful people navigated the path and emerged in a better place when life threw them an unexpected twist. It's inspired by one of my favorite sayings: the bend in the road is not the end of the road unless you fail to make the curve. These conversations will hopefully help you and inspire you to embrace your personal bend and to flourish. I hope you enjoy it, and if you need help with your own personal navigation and you're in veterinary medicine, please feel free to reach out to me at Debbie Boone 2 Manage Vets Consulting. Enjoy the bend and be inspired by our wonderful guest. Welcome. Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Bend. And I'm excited. I'm your host, Debbie Boone, and today we are welcoming Lori Hills. And Lori has a very interesting career path. She is the inventor of Komfy K Nine, which is a wonderful pet bed I'm going to be showing you at some point in time in the podcast. But she started out she lives in Utah, and she started out owning a salon and was a hairdresser for many years. And then she went to real estate. And then she just got this epiphany about how there needed to be a better way to house our pets. And she created the Komfy K Nine. She realized, she said, it was time to find a job you're passionate about and you will never work a day in your life. And I agree with you, Lori, because I love my job too. She created this product from the ground up, and she is a pet owner, of course, and she collaborated with her veterinarian and helped work with them together, and they kind of test drove, I guess, the Komfy K Nine beds. She's been married to her husband, Pat, for 33 years, and they have a son, Christopher, that also works in their business and manages their hemp farm in Western Colorado. They have 9 dogs, 4 cats, horses, rabbits, pigs, goats, chickens, and turkeys on their working farm in Montrose, Colorado. So your veterinarian loves you, I am sure, because you have all those critters, Lori. So thanks again for joining us today. We actually met, virtually through LinkedIn, and I got a good demonstration of these beds. And then I started to talk to you about your career path and how in the world you ever decided to invent a dog bed. And I certainly see now with all your pets that this was probably a really necessity for you in the health of your laundry room, because that's one of the big things. But let's just start about talking about, kind of your career path. And when you were young, I mean, obviously making dog beds was not where you thought you were going to go in life. So start out and tell us a little bit about your story about, what you thought you wanted to be, years ago before you got into the dog bed business.
Absolutely, Debbie. Thank you so much, by the way, for having me. I really appreciate the time. Years ago, never even thought about it. We had pets growing up, but really wasn't a big part of my life. And I wanted to be a psychologist of all things. And for one reason or another, that just never lined up for me. And then I went I really wanted to find something that I really enjoyed and felt I was good at. And my path just led me to become a hairdresser. And I enjoyed the interaction with clients and the immediate satisfaction of seeing the result of my work. And so I did that for many, many years. And then, like you asked, what maybe possibly made me change that career, my hands started giving me problems. I couldn't tolerate the chemicals anymore. So after many years of being in industry and owning a very successful 13-chair salon and spa, I had to make a choice. And so I tried to find another career that allowed me to interact with customers on that same level. I really enjoy working with people. So again, went into the real estate career and enjoyed that for many years, had a great following, great clientele. But as you said, I really found my passion as I got older in the pet area. And I just obviously love pets because we have so many. And so yeah, that's just kind of, I just kind of decided I wanted to do something with the last chapter of my life and my career that really meant something and was meaningful. And one of the reasons why we started Komfy K9 also is I am very passionate about rescue. And so we give back a lot with the funds that we generate through Komfy K9.
So I guess that when we talk about life throwing you a curveball, here you had built this really successful salon. I mean, 13 chairs, that's a big salon.
Mhm.
And I'm kind of self-conscious now about looking at my hair going, wow, you know, what am I
It's
doing?
beautiful.
So, I mean, what did you have to sell the salon? Did you just kind of have to make that decision you personally had to get out? Because that's a huge undertaking. I mean, you did a lot of work to get to that point, and then just to have, you know, I can understand the challenge with your hands because I know in the pet world, a lot of times our technical teams will become allergic to some of the chemicals, or the groomers will
Right.
get carpal tunnel in their hands and they can't groom anymore. So I think this is a really important thing that, you know, when life throws you these unexpected changes, that
Mhm.
you can figure out the next thing.
Absolutely. No, I struggled with it for years and just tried to limp through because I did love my career and I did work very hard to get where I was. I took a lot of extra training, and we actually, beyond just being a hairdresser, we purchased a beautiful old home built in the 1930s. We lived in Boise, Idaho at the time, and we spent a year remodeling it. And it was a really beautiful, very quaint boutique type feeling salon that we threw our heart and soul into. So we had it for many years, but that was very difficult. We ended up having to sell the building and disband the salon staff that we had in there. They were very disappointed because it was hard for them, according to what they told me, to find that same kind of ambiance and environment that we had worked so hard to create. So it was very hard to walk away. It just got to a point where, like I'm sure a lot of people, you know, I could not tolerate the health challenges that it was presenting. And so I always go back to a saying I read once: things that you can tolerate, you will not change. And I just reached a point where that became a non-option for me. So it was difficult. And I spent a lot of time, it took me a year to really decide what I was going to try next. And like I said, really my love of real estate and looking at homes. And I also, the creative side of me, I think, that enjoyed doing hair, also enjoyed staging, because I had worked kind of on the side helping some of my friends that were realtors stage homes that they had for sale. So I kind of took that, and we remodeled a bunch of homes. I took the love of real estate and transitioned to that from being a hairdresser. And again, because I liked working with the public, I think for me that was the most important thing, is identifying, you know, what was going to give me the most satisfaction on a daily basis. I tried years earlier, when I was right out of high school, I moved to Newport Beach to live with a cousin of mine and spent time down there. And he helped me get a job in an office. And I thought I had died. I realized very quickly that sitting in an office just was not for me. And I would just sit and watch the clock, and I couldn't stay focused on the task at hand. And it was brutal. And so that was kind of my first lesson, that I needed to deal with the public, and I needed to deal with that daily interaction and that change that really gave me satisfaction and made me feel successful.
I can relate to that 100%. When in 2008, the recession hit and I was laid off from my job as the COO of a very large veterinary hospital. And a friend of mine asked me to work for his recruiting business. And I tried it for about 2 weeks, and it was just sitting in my home making cold calls, trying to get through to the practice owner who was looking for a veterinarian. And 2 weeks, I called him back and I said, I will do anything I can to help your company, but I hate this.
I hate this.
There are no people in front of me and I am dying here. So he said, I get it.
Yeah.
And I think you just do have to know yourself. And obviously this is, smart for you on this decision making, as you knew you had to be around people. You knew you needed to be doing something that was moving around, and rather than just sitting behind a desk somewhere. And real estate, obviously, especially when you told me you had remodeled a home, because I have kind of a tendency to do that. My husband and I are living in a home that we have now remodeled twice. First, the time we bought it, it was a vacation home, and we remodeled it kind of just so for the beach. And then now we live here permanently. And so that was a completely different story as to, how you want to live in a house all the time. And so we lived with tools in the hall for about 6 months while he redid everything in this house and worked around it. So I kind of get that. So, you have this really beautiful building, you have a great team, you have, the stylists that are working for you. I'm sure the income was there. And then you have to make this decision to completely change. So what was the scariest part of that for you when you just have to finally say, I'm done, I have to make the change?
Luckily for me, my husband had a really good job. So financially, it wasn't as stressful as I'm sure it could be in that circumstance. I was very blessed. For me, I think it was, what am I going to do that I enjoy as much as I enjoy this? I think it was the loss of just that daily activity and that feeling of satisfaction of, you worked very hard to build something, and then life throws you a curveball and you have to course correct. And so I think it was just figuring out what was going to work for me. And I just really, like I said, I kind of took time. I really analyzed many different options. And just because of my history with remodeling, my history with my love of homes and staging, it just kind of led me down that path. But yeah, it was the unknown of, am I going to be good at this? And am I going to enjoy it?
Right. But then you veered off again, and then you had this idea. And so tell me how the Komfy K Nine, how that idea came to you. I mean, you're a real estate agent. Yes. How in the world did you move from that into the K9 bed company that you have now?
It was a journey. I had the idea initially, and for 10 years I sold real estate and didn't do anything with it. I just shelved it. It initially came to me as a product primarily for helping me overcome the challenges I had in dealing with our dog Sarah, who was a yellow lab, changing her bedding. And also, as much as I love animals, I'm allergic to them. And so having a big allergen-filled bed laying in my home, full of dog dander and dirt and hair, was just always something I really struggled with. And one day Sarah had really bad hips. She had that typical hip dysplasia that a lot of that breed has. And we went on a camping trip, and I came home and we had our twin Coleman mattress out, and I had it aired up and I was cleaning it off in the living room, and she got on it and would not get off. It felt really good, I think, on her hips, that pressure point relief. So I left it up for a while, and it just got me thinking, because like the night before I had taken her bed and washed the cover, and it had shrunk. And so I was trying to get the cover back on, and I was frustrated. I'm like, there's got to be a better way to do this. So I think it was the combination of seeing her comfort level and also my frustration with the bedding options that were available to me at the time. I just thought, I've got to do something. So initially I started down the path of wanting to do an air mattress, basically just take a Coleman bed and turn it into a dog bed. And for the cover, I just thought, I want to eliminate any zippers, snaps, any of that business that makes it hard for this cover to go on and off. And so I spent, I would say that anybody doing a product to launch and bring to market, I went into it thankfully so naively at how challenging each step of the way can be. And you have to be tenacious. You have to not get derailed and just get back on the horse and take one step forward, even if you're taking 2 steps back. Because it took me a long time to get I had the idea in my head, but to find a factory to make me a prototype was really difficult. And I thought, who is going to make this for me? So I finally connected with a company in Boise, Idaho, where we were living again at the time. And they are Moravia Cascade Outfitters, and they're big, very well respected, one of the top river raft commercial producers in the whole country. And so I went to George, the owner, and I said, this is my idea. I need a waterproof air mattress for a dog bed. And he said, Lori, honestly, can I make a suggestion? And I said, absolutely. He said, if you have only air, the dog punctures it, your bed is non-usable. He said, we have a product that I think would be perfect for what you're looking for. It's actually got open cell foam in it that self-inflates. So you not only have a bed, if you get a tiny hole, it doesn't matter, but you have not only the comfort of the air, but also the foam. And so it's kind of a really double benefit. And so I loved the idea. So he started creating prototypes for me. The initial ones were very rough. The edges were glued. We did over 15 different designs with Dr. Pam, and just spent a lot of time really tweaking, reevaluating the product. But it was a process. It was something that I wanted to give up many, many times. And even after we kind of got through that, I shelved it because my real estate was just going so well. And to jump off that cliff again into the unknown and walk away from something that I did enjoy, I was making money at, even though I was passionate about this product, was scary. And so I kind of I kind of shelved it and thought, boy, I'd really like something like this for myself, but maybe this is just not meant to be. And Dr. Pam really was the catalyst that pushed me to really seek out a factory for mass production. And she's really the one that saw my idea after I presented it to her would be such a benefit to the clinics.
And when you talk about Pam, this is kind of a odd connection that we share, because I, for several years, worked with the American Animal Hospital Association on what they call their Link Committee. Right. And the job of Link is to interview and choose the board of directors for the American Animal Hospital Association. And it just so happened at that time that I was on that committee when Dr. Nichols, who is who you're talking about, was coming onto the board of directors. And so that's how that we are connected through Dr. Nichols. But she is one of the smartest businesswomen I have ever met in veterinary medicine, and she has a huge boarding facility. So as somebody who could really test drive your product, I think this is the perfect person for you to have connected with. But in this process, I mean, I can't imagine, how in the world do you even start to get somebody to build you a prototype, somebody to manufacture this, overseas? I mean, how in the world do you find that? And so my question to you is, did networking, other than with Pam, did networking have a lot to do with you being able to get your business up and going?
Absolutely, 100%. Yes, I basically just not giving up and trying to figure out where that first step was to start, and meeting George. And from there, then Dr. Pam actually helped me, because I spent 2 years trying to find a factory in the US that would make the product for me that was at a cost that I could actually create a business, and that the end consumer would pay that price. And so again, I shelved it and thought, this is just not meant to be. I really wanted to do a US made product. But Dr. Pam had a group that she belonged to that was a networking group. And she said, Lori, look, I know a guy that he is basically a sourcing company, and he can help you find that partner overseas that can bring this product to life and help us bring it to market. And at first I resisted. I did not want anything to do with that. But my decision finally boiled down to, if I do this company and it is successful, the amount of funding that I can put into my passion of rescue will be there. If I don't, then that completely is a non-option. So that's why I went ahead and did it. But she actually was very instrumental in setting me up with the person that, because that's a very daunting process. I talk to people all the time, thinking of trying to find a factory that you trust that does quality work. It's really overwhelming. And so finding that person to kind of guide you through that, through networking, was essential to starting my business.
Well, I think this is a pretty cool product, and I wanted to kind of show folks how it comes, because you sent me a couple of beds so that I could see, because it's just, you got to touch it, right? So this is a small bed, and it came with some bands around it. And you told me that when it's very dramatic when I hit the valve. So I wanted to pop the valve here, and then we'll just show folks like how it's inflating itself. And it feels wonderful. It's getting squishy. But these are made in the sizes that usually fit into our stainless steel kennels in the animal hospital. And the things that you told me about this, of course, you said it takes a couple hours initially to get it all puffed up, but it's doing pretty good. It's working on its own here. Is that when we are thinking about these things in animal hospitals, first of all, they got to be tough, because I can't tell you as a manager how many different things I tried. Yoga mats. I use the mats that go underneath sleeping bags for camping, and we cut them. But and then of course, there's newspapers, and then there's the blankets and the towels and the things that clients donate to us or they just leave with us. And all that stuff was either they shredded it, or you spent just hours and hours in the laundry. Now, in the first practice that I managed for 19 years. And we, like Dr. Nichols, had a huge boarding facility, and we could board 100 animals in that hospital on top of the medical cases. And so we had 2 washing machines that ran from dawn till dark, and a dryer. And occasionally when it got really bad during like Labor Day or the 4th of July holidays, we were even hanging towels and blankets out on the fence. Of course, we were in North Carolina, so in the summer, it didn't take them long to dry out there. But the laundry would just pile up. And then if one of the washing machines broke, somebody had to take all that nasty stuff, put it in the trunk of their car, haul it to the laundromat, and spend a couple of hours down there washing clothes for us. So this bed is fairly impervious to dog. I mean, and I love the fact that you even send a repair kit with it, because we all know that dogs are going to work on the corners. That's where they're going to start, is chewing. So you have a repair kit. But these seams are, you told me, radio welded, right? So this is beyond glued, and they, so we can disinfect this stuff. But here's the cool part, is they come with these little covers. Now, the covers go on like a fitted sheet. So it takes me hardly any time to get these covers on and change the bed in a kennel. And they go so far back that the dogs can't get the edges of them because they're laying on it, when the bed is completely inflated, of course. But then the cool thing is, if I need to wash it, bang, this is all I have to wash. This. So you have actually done studies in animal hospitals, boarding kennels, about how much labor and money is actually saved by utilizing these beds in the hospitals. And so tell me just a little bit about that, because I think for me, laundry was just the exciting thing about it. I'm glad that the dog is comfortable, but we can make them comfortable with a lot of stuff. Right. I'm glad that, we can sanitize this, but mostly I'm glad about the laundry.
Yes, you're not alone. I talk to so many people that is their very biggest, they roll their eyes when I ask them, do you have laundry issues in your clinic? And they're just like sighing and moaning and groaning. And so I think that's one of the things that really attracted to Dr. Pam when I first told her about my idea. And she felt that that would be a perfect solution, because you do end up washing so many quilts and towels and blankets and all that, and washing machines break down, and just the labor costs alone of having vet techs that they want to take care of the patient. They don't want to be a laundry.
Nobody wants to do laundry. I did forget to do something.
Sure.
The other cool thing, and I'm sure this was some of Dr. Pam's idea, because Therapeutic, it has a pocket in it. So in this pocket, we can put ice packs or heating pads, and they were not slipping around or scooting in the wrong place under our patient. And I think that's a really good little plus addition. Now, this is for the veterinary one, and this material is, I don't know, this is kind of some kind of tough nylon. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nylon blend, and we really did. We provided 15 different types of material, ways that the cover went on and off, just thickness, everything. And this was the one that Dr. Pam and her vet techs chose, because every time I would change the prototype that I would send them an evaluation sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had to fill it out, what they liked, what they didn't. We chose this material because it didn't really collect a lot of hair. It's easy to sanitize. It has just a really light water resistant coating on it. And so if the patient is not a new patient to the kennel, but just basically maybe has a little bit of an accident, super easy to just get in there, wipe it off, and not have to fully change the bedding because of this material. So yeah, we really spent a lot of time, right from the thickness of the foam to the radio frequency welded seams that you mentioned. We offer a lifetime warranty on those. They will not come apart. And the thickness of the PVC shell. That material is the same material they use for commercial grade river rafts. So it's impervious to sticks penetrating it, water getting through. And so we wanted to use a version of it that was not maybe as thick as what they use for a river raft, but yet still would give us, the protection against the nails and such. So we also offer a lifetime warranty against toenail punctures, because of just all the details that we really wanted to get right. We wanted to design this for the end user so that we met all their needs. And the therapy pocket was a really great idea Pam and I came up with, because post-surgery, I didn't know this before going into collaborating with them, that after surgery, a patient's body temperature is very critical to stay elevated. And that is one of the things I hear from a lot of clinics. They love that feature because they can really keep their patient warm very easily without the pack sliding off or burning the patient.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as someone who managed practices for quite a while, I can remember having a little hairless dog come into us who had had a spay at another hospital, and they had put her on a heating pad, and because she didn't have any hair, it burnt her side. And so we were treating her for burn wounds on top of, just looking after her. But those are the kind of things I think are important. So that's kind of puts another barrier between your patient and the heating pad, and keeps it in place too, so they're not bunching up on it and keeping it flat. So really, really cool product. And I'm sure that, you obviously have tons of time and I'm sure money invested in this. So this was a huge career decision for you in making that change, because obviously real estate, if you're a good real estate agent and you have built up a clientele, and this is obviously you've built a clientele twice, first for the salon and then for the real estate business, and then to kind of give that up and say, this is my passion project, because of the need for it, but also because you wanted to give back to rescue and be able to have some funds for the rescue work that you do. So that's a big career decision.
Yes.
How would you advise people? Because right now I think, we're still here in COVID land, and the veterinary teams are running just ragged. But there are a lot of people out there who are kind of exhausted. They're maybe exhausted with their own profession, or because of COVID, their profession is going to change forever.
Right.
And they won't go back to where they were, Or maybe, I mean, I think I read the other day, 26,000 restaurants already in the United States won't reopen after COVID is over. So we're going to lose a lot of those businesses. So what would you tell someone who's really facing this big career decision? Because we always like the safe thing, right? We always like the known thing. And you've twice, well, actually 3 times ago, you started a salon, you started your real estate business, you started this. You've 3 times jumped and leaped into the unknown. What advice do you give people out there who said, you know, to get them, encourage them to do this?
Oh boy. I would say really look deep into who you are, what drives you, what makes you happy, what gives you fulfillment. That to me would be the first place I would start. And then how can you turn that into a viable business and kind of marry those two things? Because obviously you need to make money. That's the goal of having a career. But if you can find that thing that's really going to make it really worthwhile to push and drive. And I know a lot of people, I don't know if they don't believe in themselves or have the confidence to go out and do it. But years ago, I had a boss tell me, I had a situation with a client when I was a brand new hairdresser, and I turned her hair green. And and I went in the back room and I said to Christy, my boss, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And she said, you're going to go out there. And I've remembered these words for 30 years. She said, you're going to fake it till you make it. And we're going to make it right, but you're not going to panic in front of your client, and you're going to believe in yourself. You know, this is just a course correction. We need to figure out, okay, what went wrong? What do we do next? And I've always lived by those words. I present myself as someone that I don't want to be arrogant, but I'm going to have confidence in the fact that I can navigate anything. And I wish more people felt that way about themselves, that they can just fake it till they make it and present a confident side of themselves, because people will rise to that occasion. If you believe in yourself and you present yourself in a way, it goes a long way in the networking world and in just building those relationships and building those careers. So I would say, know yourself, trust yourself, believe in yourself, fake it till you make it. And then just really, if you get roadblocks thrown at you, which I have so many times with Komfy K Nine, don't give up. If it's something that really you believe in, it makes it easier to stay the course. So that's why doing your due diligence and your homework and figuring out what that is so critical. But yeah, just be tenacious. Just keep working, because I mean, I still struggle to this day. COVID really did impact our business as well. I was doing really well. We're in over 6,000 clinics worldwide, and a lot of referrals, a lot of repeat business, and we're still growing, but definitely it's slowed way down. People are watching their budget. You know, pet owners especially, people just are unsure. It's just such a really scary time. So we've had to really navigate and learn and try to redirect the way we do business and try to interact with our customers. So it's just one of those things that you just have to really figure out how to keep going. Debbie, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to edit this because my phone alarm's going off.
Oh.
I'm gonna just shut my phone right off. Okay.
That's the thing I forgot to tell you to do.
Stop. Yeah, I turned it off, but I forgot that alarms will come through even if it's on vibrate.
Yeah.
So hold on just a second. We'll have to definitely do a big edit here. Come on, go turn off for me, please. Okay. Sorry about that.
That's okay. So, that's fine.
Yeah. Back, yeah. I think my best advice is just those things.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that you said made me think about imposter syndrome, and that women particularly seem to have more challenge with imposter syndrome. And when you said fake it till you make it, mm-hmm. and there's a lot of studies that say, you know, men will go out and they will just say, okay, I can do that. whether they really can or not, or have any experience doing it. And women will go, well, I'll have to learn and take 4 classes, and then I will have to go out and, do all that stuff. So you, I mean, obviously you just went for it. I mean, certainly you educated yourself, but still you just kept going and kept persevering and kind of learning as you go. And I love that the green hair thing tickled me, because when I was really young, I would think I was probably about 15 or 16. My hair is not this color. My hair is really dark. And I decided that I wanted a blonde streak in the top of my hair. So I went out and I got some kind of, like cheap stuff at the drugstore, and I messed with my hair. And the next morning, my mom came to wake me up, and I heard her, I was asleep, and she went, ah! And I had this big green streak across the top of my head, because you have to know what you're doing to take almost dark black hair and make it blonde. So
Yes, absolutely.
she took me to the hairdresser, and I got my green streak revised back to my natural hair color. But that made me think about that when you said that. But we do make mistakes, and even as a consultant who's been in the veterinary business for 30 years, I still sometimes feel like, oh my gosh, do I know enough to still help these people? Because there's just so much. There's so much change. There's so much to learn. There's so much to do. You see the books behind me, so I constantly am trying to work and learn and learn and learn. But what would you tell women in particularly about imposter syndrome? Because you obviously, I mean, we all feel that.
Absolutely. I think just not allowing yourself to be, I don't know if the word's not confined, but defined by what other people say you can and can't do. That even when I was starting this business, my family, and that's sometimes your worst critics, is the people that know you. Oh, you can't do that, or are you sure, or all these doubts that will be fed at you. I think you just have to really, really truly believe that if you work hard enough, I mean, it's such a cliche saying, if you work hard enough, you can have anything you want. I think that's so true. I think really believing in yourself. I love this. I don't know if you remember, years ago, there was a book and a movie called The Secret. And I really live by that. I really believe in the power of intention. And I really believe that if I want to achieve something, I need to start thinking as if I've already reached that goal. And so I think having as women, we try to, and I love being a caretaker. I love giving. I love the feeling of, like right now, I have a little bottle baby foster puppy and 2 kittens that I'm fostering. And I love that feeling of helping something. But I think sometimes as women, we don't really turn around and go, okay, what do I need? And how do I need to make my life better? And what are those steps that I need to take? And I really am powerful. Women, I think, give up their power a lot because just growing up, I think we're taught to be the nurturers and the man, and I think those perceptions are shifting. But I think, and we're evolving, but I think it's just something women still struggle with. Just, I think it's human nature. We are the givers, we're the caretakers, and we need to be strong and believe that we can, with effort, with perseverance. There's going to be problems, there's going to be roadblocks, and you have to go into it knowing that, but also know that you can solve the problem. Just stop, evaluate, figure out, okay, this is where I'm at, this is where I want to be, what are the steps to get me there? And I'm not always perfect. I blow it a lot. You graciously helped me with my learning of the Zoom today. Because I don't like technology. I'm just one of those people. I want to pick up a phone and have a conversation, or I want to have a meeting face to face. I'm just that generation. And so I'm learning that I need to get on board with technology and educate myself on how to do that. And so it's just everybody has their issues. Everybody has their things that just are not comfortable and are outside their box, and they need to just go, okay, I'm going to just jump in and do this.
Mhm.
So thank you for helping me do that today.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure to teach you what the little I know about Zoom calls, because the last couple of days, Zoom has misbehaved with me, and we have broken links, and so we've had to regroup a little bit with some of these calls. But I love the fact that you mentioned the book, The Secret, because it is really one of my favorites, and it is listed on my website on my recommended reading list. And I've often, I train a lot of communication and client service to people. And it is my firm belief that the energy that you put out is the energy you receive. And a lot of times right now, especially, we're all just frazzled and fried. And I think paying attention to our energy is extremely important, more so than ever. I mean, it's always a valuable thing to do, but really watching your energy and what you're presenting to people. And the challenge that we do face too is the mask, because if we are reading body language and we're looking and you can't see somebody's smile,
Right.
then that reduces our ability to read and understand each other. So I think that pushing more positive energy out is even more valuable now, because we can't read each other as well as we did in the past. And making sure that your expressions are a little bit bigger, a little bit more over the top, and having that consciousness of that. But yeah, I would recommend highly that everybody read The Secret, or watch the movie. If you're not a reader, you can watch the movie, and it doesn't even cost anything. I think it's free. But energy, we are to our microns energy. And that's something we have to understand, because we do pick up on those vibrations, and we're constantly reading each other. And 55% of our communication is nonverbal. So we need to watch and pay attention. So any final words of wisdom that you would offer to our audience is to how to, maybe if they have an idea how to get that product launched, or if they are looking to make a career change, just, kind of how to utilize a network and go for it. We'd love to hear that.
I think just once you identify that industry that appeals to you, I would find people in that industry that can mentor you and teach you, what are the steps, just like Dr. Pam did with me. She helped me navigate and build a business out of this for the veterinarians based on, like she said to me, she can now throw 35 of those little sheets in one load and saves, a minimum of $15,000 to $18,000 a year. So those are things that I didn't know. Those are things that she helped me see because she's in it. And so I would say align yourself with someone that's amazing as Dr. Pam Nichols, and have her guide you through the things and the steps that you maybe don't know about that industry, and how to really, that's one thing I am very proud that we collaborated with her so highly, because I also didn't look at, oh, I'm going to create a dog bed because I think it's really cool and it's going to be my thing. I went into it with the mindset of, I want to solve a problem. I want to listen to my customer, the veterinarians, and I want to meet every single need that they have. And so I guess gathering as much data as you can about the industry and how you can best be a benefit and provide those things, not just come at it from a standpoint of, I want to be XYZ or whatever. I want to figure out this industry and really figure out how I can make a difference.
Well, I believe that you have hit the nail on the head there when you say, I'm going to build whatever this is or do whatever it is, and I'm going to do it not necessarily to make money, because the money to me is the kind of the applause you get for doing a good job. I've always believed profit is that. But if you go into something with the belief that you can help, that there is a problem that you can solve, that there is benefit to others from what you do, then first of all, your job satisfaction is much higher. You're not just working for money, you're working for a cause that you believe in, and to help others is also very good for our soul. I got a correspondence this morning from someone who thanked me for putting an open letter to clients template out into the world that kind of expressed how veterinary teams are struggling and how they're dealing with, the overload, the overwhelm. And she said, thank you so much for offering this. And what can we do as a team? How can we we're burning out. We have compassion. How can we help? And I said, the thing that really struck me, I was at a conference and I watched Michael J. Fox give a keynote speak. Now, Michael J. Fox has late stage Parkinson's disease, and this was about 2 years ago. So he actually fell up a set of metal steps going up to the podium. But he didn't stop. He got up and he gave his keynote speech. But the entire time his hands were on the podium, his knuckles were covered in blood where he had fallen. And as he stood up there and he talked about this journey and what he had done with the Parkinson's Foundation that he founded. And he said, I don't feel sorry for myself. He said, if you feel sorry for yourself, you go out and you do something for somebody else. It does good for them and it does good for you. And I thought, he can stand up there and say that after falling up a stage and standing there bleeding and still believe that this is the way to make your life better. Then he really, I agree with that. I absolutely agree that that is the way to live your life. And I hope that people find their purpose, like you and I have, in their jobs and in their careers, as that we move forward into whatever the next new thing is. We talk about a new normal. I really look for a better normal as the world changes and evolves. So is there anything that you would like to share with us about, yourself, your company, how to reach out to you, how veterinarians can find these wonderful beds and save themselves a mountain of laundry every single day? And then, of course, we will have this information on the end of the podcast too. But how do they reach you, Lori?
Absolutely, super easy. They can either call me. My phone number is on our website. It's 208-697-0088. Or they can go to the website, which is komfyk9.com. And Komfy spelled with a K. So it's KOMFYK, the number 9.com. We have a contact us form right there, super easy. It comes straight to my email. I pride myself, I will get back to my customers in that same day. And just reach out if they have any questions. They can order online. We will provide a discount code so that we can offer a discount for customers if they'd like to purchase beds after hearing them through you. And I guess that's something we can edit this, Debbie, but let me say that. What do you want a discount code to be for your customers? Because I can create that and we'll just say it and you can edit that into this podcast.
You could call it, well, whatever the percentage is, and then the number 2 MV, like, because usually my little short is DB, the number 2 MV, so 2 managed vets. So we could say DB2, the number MV could be the code.
So DB2MV20 to give them 20% off.
Yeah, to give them 20% off. Yeah.
So the way you can also reach us is go on the website, order, and enter discount code D2MV20, and that'll give you 20% off any purchase that you'd like to make. And that won't be a one-time purchase. We'll allow you to just order. A lot of clinics really like to try to order one bed and just test drive it. So I'm happy to work with you on that if they want to call and reach out to me. And we have lots of veterinarians that they said they will be happy to answer questions. So if anybody wants to speak to one of their peers that have been my customer for 4 or 5 years and love our product, I can arrange that. So definitely just reach out either way, and we can get them help, because we offer so many benefits, not only for their bottom line, but everybody wins. The patient's more comfortable. We actually work with a group that has a protocol to reduce anxiety, and vet techs are happier too because they're not dealing with mountains of laundry.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Lori, thank you again so much for joining me today on The Bend. I really appreciate your time and the fact that you were willing to learn Zoom in order to do this. So now you have a new skill, and
Yes.
I have a cool discount code that I can give. So thank you so much for that. And we look forward to continuing to work together and to get the information out and to save veterinary hospitals mountains and mountains and mountains and mountains of laundry every single day. So thank you again so much.
Thank you so much, Debbie. I really appreciate it.